Jay, what are you jamming on right now?
Similar things as last episode, unfortunately. Haven't been able to branch out much just due to work and travel. So playing a lot of college football 26. The Miami U Redhawks are 5-2 with a win over Rutgers from the Big Ten. They're 3-0 in the MAC. Strong start to FY26, or not FY26, but that's a word reference. College football 26 this season. So, man, that's crazy. But yeah, that, having a blast with that, actually, even despite people kind of bitching about what they think are just changes to the game. I feel like...
What's wrong with it? What's wrong
with
it?
Well, people are just always... Well, there is one thing I will say. If you throw a ball high for your receiver and they got to go up high to get it, like, it takes very little to knock the ball out of a receiver's hands. Like, it was comically compared to college football 25, where like you would jump up and grab it and your play is either catching it or they're not. Now it's like, if they're jumping in the air at all, just touch the receiver and they're dropping the ball like 90% of the time. So it's crazy. But like, I just learned to stop high pointing balls like that, unless I'm sure my receiver has the advantage like in every way. So beyond that, I'm pretty good with it. But really, I'm only doing that like weekly for my dynasty now. So whenever I play a dynasty, I'll do that. I'm not like heavy into it as I was like last season. The newness is worn off. I want to play some different things, get some new experiences. And that has led me to Ready or Not. Like, I touched on this last time briefly, but Josh, have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a member of a SWAT team?
I played one in a pilot one time. I did a lot of yelling and lost my voice. So
that's probably what this would be like. Although, yeah, I'm definitely doing a lot of yelling. Like, from a multiplayer standpoint, I've definitely gotten into this. I didn't think I would even like it at first. Like, me, I like fast pace, shoot 'em, Halo, Call of Duty. I'm sliding, you're jumping, like you're doing all this stuff. Like, that's what I like. I like grappling, like back smacking you. Like, I like doing all that, like fast paced combat. And this is not at all what this is about. Like, you run into any place, it's like real life. If I'm running into a freaking drug stronghold where dudes have guns, Leroy Jenkins, I'm gonna get shot the fuck up. That's gonna be done,
no battle mage shit, huh?
Not at all. You don't get to respawn.
I was playing Skyrim last night, and they sent me off to kill some. They actually said it in the game. Like, there's this battle mage in this thing that I gotta go. I was like, I fucking thought of you. I was like, fucking battle mage, huh?
Yeah, no battle maging here, man. Like, so it's good when I'm on the mic playing with the guys. So we're like, all right, we're going through this door. All right, I'm behind you. I'm going to do the flashbang. There's 3 guys inside. Like, you communicate. That is the way to play this game. Like, every now and then, just due to like the timing, we'll just jump on the play, but we won't be on mics. And it's just like, it could be a clusterfuck. It could go either way because people are you're paying attention, but there's multiple doors to go in. So if I just like take the right door, you take the left door, nobody's there to back me up. It can go south very quickly. But it's when you're staying together and talking, it is a blast. But it is very hard for me to hold my Leroy Jenkinsisms like to myself and to not just like rush in and take people out. Like, oh, you got a gun? I'm taking you out. Like, there's no talking. Even when you're supposed to be fighting like the bad guys and like arresting them, bringing them in, it's like, give me a reason to shoot you, and that's what's happening because it's a video game, So it's a fun game. I just don't know if I can play it long term. Like, I'm ready to play something a little more fast.
That's definitely, that's a cool ass premise for sure. I'm surprised. That's also like a very VR-able concept in my opinion. So I'm surprised that there's not something already.
Well, it's in beta, you know what I mean? Or not beta, like it just...
Right, but I just mean that a team-based tactical fucking infiltration thing. Like, and there are actually, I know there's something called Breachers that is probably kind of like that, actually. And I hear the guy in the VR Let's Talk Oculus podcast talking about it all the time. I have not tried it. But, so maybe that does exist and I'm just fucking ignorant, but... That is certainly something.
Get sweaty so quick.
Yeah. Oh, he's the guy that likes to sweat in his headset, anyways, based on the games he plays. So I think he's mentioned before that yes, it's a lot.
Yeah, when you die, like the worst thing, since there's no respawning, the worst thing is just like when you think you got the whole area covered, you're like, I'm peeked around, I should
popped.
be good. And somebody pops you from somewhere, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
The struggle's real. But man, because of that, and looking for the fast-paced stuff, Battlefield 6 has had a beta the last couple weekends. Did you catch this at all or hear about this? Oh my gosh. Like, all right, first of all, how much do you know about the Battlefield series? Like, is it something that's ever been read? All right,
sounds like one of those games that just like that million, fucking, I don't know.
That's kind of how I felt, honestly. Like, admittedly, I didn't know much about it before, like, a couple years ago when they...
Like, you'd be better off naming your game Squirrels, even if it had nothing to do... even if it had nothing to do with, like, squirrels, obviously. Just, like, something that's not fucking, I don't know, a general-ass military fucking combat term. Like, get the fuck...
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, exactly. That's kind of how I felt. But, like, when they released Battlefield 2042 a couple years ago, and the trailer looked amazing. And so, at the time, I was like, oh, that looks like open field combat, because there were some games I was playing that had like almost like for Honor and some other games that had like this open war concept where you might be out just like fighting guys here and there, but then you will go into an actual battlefield area where like it's our army versus their army, and you're just like fighting whoever you can fight. And that's I found that to be a blast. And so when I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is like real war, let me try it out. But the game dropped and it was terrible, like there was all kind of bugs, so I just kind of forgot about it. And so this Battlefield 6 beta popped up on the Xbox. I still didn't care. I'm like, whatever, it's Battlefield. But then I started seeing so much chatter online about it for just like a weekend beta, and that they had another weekend. I was like, all right, let me check it out. Man, it is so good. It's so good. It's like how do I even describe it? It is open field. When I say open field, I mean like if you're out in an actual war zone in the mountains and there's like an army on one side of the mountain and your army is trying to siege it, and there's tanks and people, like it's just everything you can imagine, just like people everywhere, things you can hide around, like natural thing. It's just so good. Like it sounds generic when I'm talking about it. I feel like there's nothing that jumps out.
I think like those, the D-Day. There's a game that's like that where they try to replicate the chaos of like that. Yeah, I mean that is a fascinating and interesting thing. I'm sure that's what Call of Duty is now, isn't it? I mean,
but it's not though. That's what I mean. Like Call of Duty has so many different modes, and they're fun. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But there's something different, at least about this mode that I was playing. There is a mode that is very much like smaller map, very similar to Call of Duty. Like, okay, to me, it was just like, all right, this is like Call of Duty with some different slide moves. And
so it ups the chaos of the warfare more.
Yeah. But then like when you have like the real like war zone where you're at location E, you're trying to get to location A, but you gotta like basically take enough of the army down through various checkpoints to get there. And it's...
Are you like controlling just one individual in it?
Yeah, you're just controlling one individual. But like obviously you can respond because it's war, but you have so many kills you have to take to defend your place. And it's so well done because I find myself doing what I don't do in Call of Duty as much, which is really thinking about the terrain. Like I need to go hide behind this side of the mountain because like there's definitely snipers over there. Like they're just so much more. It makes me think a lot more, whereas Call of Duty to me is much more like Halo, where I'm.
And what is the era? Like modern?
Oh, it's still modern. Yeah, it's definitely modern. It's not like it's like, because it's a beta, like there's no story yet or anything, so it's all in my mind like fictional. Like you're in this snowy place, and that's where the war is taking place, or you're in this big like not desert, but open field area with mountains, and you're trying to get. And there's like little outposts here and there where there's definitely going to be enemies. There might not be enemies. And so I found myself really looking like, all right, where can I hide? Where can I, like, sniping is really not that fun, but like there's places you can definitely hide and get people, because it's not like a Call of Duty where everybody's played it for so many years. People know the maps, you know where to stand. It was very much just like, here you are, figure it out. And it played so well. It was so smooth that I understand why people are raving about it and can't wait for the full one to come out. So that's definitely on my radar when they drops full time for sure.
Okay.
So all of that current hotness, and man, that's pretty much it. I've just been jamming on that stuff these days.
Okay.
What about you? Clearly Skyrim.
I am playing Skyrim, obviously. Yes, I put in a full day's work yesterday, like 8 hours probably.
Damn.
It's not straight continuous, but over the course of the day. Nice. I clear out that inbox and then boom.
Solid.
Skyrim. So there's so much new shit in this fucking, mod conglomerate that I'm fucking playing right now. I think I just hit level 30 maybe last night. So fucking ton of, just time spent, but I can just, and again, like Skyrim is so weird because you just don't know. There's so much stuff that you can't possibly remember at all. But man, it sure seems like there's new fucking stuff, POI wise, that, there's certainly things I'm like, oh, I remember doing this. I remember finding that dog outside Falkreath and following him to deal with that Daedra thing. Like, there's like things I remember doing, but so much of it feels new. And again, it doesn't matter whether that's, DLC or mod based or not. If I feel that way, I feel that way. And that's all that matters. And one of the biggest things that is different now is one of the mods allows you to have more than one companion at a time. So I have had up to 4 at times. I kind of noticed like a little bit of what I perceived to be, it may have just been incidental and happenstance that it was happening while I had the 4th person. But I kind of noticed a little bit of a performance dip maybe. So, and also, honestly, it didn't bother me to cut it back to 3 because 1, I always have a fucking Daedra Warlord, Demon Lord, Conjuration going as well. So I already have a 4th to begin with. So really it was 5. And aside from any performance dip, fucking having 5 fucking people just going apeshit in dungeon tunnels and shit is just a lot. And sometimes I'm killing things, my own people, as a result. So it's too busy even aside from any performance, whatever effect it might have. But yeah, man, so you have a party, and that is such a different Skyrim experience. To be able to, because you have the one companion, sure, you just add some sort of something, and maybe you like strategize with that. But in my experience, I don't know if I've ever really thought about like trying to complement what the build I'm making with my companion.
Interesting.
In this case, with a party, you can you have the freedom, and there's also just more companions, I think. At least I feel like there is. Maybe I'm noticing them more because I can enlist more than one at a time, so I'm paying attention. Again, doesn't matter what the case is, but I feel like there's a lot of them. So you can build a party that complements each other. I had a mage from the College of fucking Windhold in the party. I had a tank. I'm playing, I love maces. I've always loved maces, so I'm playing with the mace again as my one-hander. And then I spell wield with my left. So at least that's primarily it. I also use a lot of bow and arrow stuff. I enjoy that mechanic so much in the game, and it allows you to do a lot of cool stealth shit too. That is really fun, I think. But either way, I'm kind of like this hybrid-y type character. So I've built around me a tank and a mage, and then I got a dog as well. I have a dog companion as well. So there's 2 dogs and a dark elf and a Nord that are, going around with me at all times. And, there's just no... I also, I'm almost certain they improved the AI of them, so they behave better. They are more helpful. I feel like and again, I don't know if I'm just like so impressed that like I'm noticing these things, and maybe it's how it was before, but like the tank, I feel like she got a hold. I didn't even give it to her. She got a hold of it on her own. I don't know how she did it, but she got a hold of a staff that does shock attacks. So sometimes I feel like she will strategically use that instead of melee combat, and that's just the idea that they're oscillating between weapons and reacting to the environment is so far above and beyond my expectation of Skyrim AI, right? Skyrim companion AI. So yeah, just, that aspect of it, I have really tuned into over the last week or so and really noticed how much more enjoyable that is, and being able to build a party and customize it and strategize and like make yourself whatever, just more cohesive unit out battling all the shit. So that's fucking, it's just really fucking cool and such a upgrade, obviously, over just the one limited thing of an idiot following you around, bumping into stuff, which is how I think it used to be. So very cool.
Oh, man.
Really, really cool thing. And then the other big thing, other than just Skyrim the fuck out of the game, is one of the mods is this museum thing. It is so it's a huge building that they added right outside the Blue Palace in Solitude. So right when you're walking up to the palace at the end of that L that makes up Solitude, the Solitude map, there used to be this fenced-in corner, and I don't think you could go in there at all. I'm pretty sure this was nothing before. But now the gate's open, you can go up and you go into this building, and when you first go in there, like, something leads you there, one of the notes or whatever, that you do get like someone tips you off that it exists. Yeah, to go there and check it out. Like the museum needs help or some shit like that. So you go in and there's a museum caretaker, and he's like, I need these 3 things. I'll pay you to go get them. I'm starting a museum here. They're relics. Go get them, So yeah, so you go out, you get it. It's normal ass fucking fetch quest for Skyrim. You bring those things back, and he's like, okay, this is what I needed to open the museum. There was a red fucking velvet rope thing that he removes. You can go in there, and it is a fucking huge building, dude. Huge. There's like this big ass fucking foyer thing when you walk in that has like matching spiral staircases that go up, and in there, just if you had to fill that room, this would be like a serious undertaking, especially because these are like the relics from every quest in the game, dude. And like Skyrim is endless in quests. So like, what? I mean, the easiest comparison I can make is Animal Crossing, the Animal Crossing Museum, where, there's some things you just got to get the thing, you got to catch the bug or catch the fish, but then you have the fossils, the dinosaur fossils, where you have to get the different parts, right? So that is like, there's a bunch of stuff that's just like, oh, get this fucking Warhammer from this quest, and then you bring it to the museum, and it displays. You can take them anytime you want and use them. Like you go into business with them essentially. So there's like a donation box of the fucking thing that people come in and give money when they visit, and you can take money out of that. So it's like a residual income stream for you, for one. 2, it's fucking, it houses everything. And like so many of the things, you can build, there's just so much. You can build replicas so you don't have to leave the original thing. So like if you want to keep the thing that you found and not even, but have it on display because you're a weirdo, you need that slot filled in the fucking museum like I will need, you can go in and build, or you want to put, like my house, I bought Breeze Home in Whiterun, and there's all sorts of weapon racks and shit. So you want to display some things in your home. I like displaying the Thane weapons that you get from each city. You become a Thane for Whiterun. Here's this axe. I like to hang all those things in my houses in Skyrim. So I don't want those in the museum. I want those in my house, but I obviously don't want those slots empty in the museum. So you can go and you can build these replicas, and there's like parts that you have to get to make the replica for the museum. So you gotta, get that shit, build it, and they have like a whole room of like new kinds of workbenches and stuff that you have to use to do all this shit. You can change the way the displays look with fucking different things. It's like, dude, it is hardcore. And there's like, there's that huge room. There's a big ass fucking armory there's a main armory that's like a circle thing where it has every type of like the Forsworn and the fucking, that you can get like the entire armor sets and build them for the little display of each thing. And then there's like a east and west wing with all these armor mannequins that you can decorate however you want. So you can make like mix and match, make your own crazy ass fucking armor display. You could turn it into like an army of one type of armor. You can do anything you wanted with it. That would be so cool. There's a Hall of Natural Sciences where you go in and you build essentially taxidermied versions of all the fucking creatures in the game, all the dragons, all the trolls, everything. Like,
so this place didn't exist before?
Didn't exist. This is some psychopath made this as a mod, and it works flawlessly, dude. It is so good. And like, there's even like quality of life things. So like, you go in, like, you have all this, you accumulate this shit in your inventory. you can go in and there's like this book, like a sign out, like, and basically you can just like deposit everything and it'll auto display it, so you don't got to do the dumb shit. But you can, if you want to walk up, if you know where this hammer goes in this massive ass museum, and you want to walk up and put it in the thing yourself, you have that option. But if you want to just make it auto fucking the situation, you can just deposit it all and it'll automatically display them wherever they go in the museum. Yeah, man, it's hardcore, and you can even like. You don't have to go there if you don't want to. You can do that. You can set it up so you have these chests in your home, wherever your home's at, and you can just drop things in the chest and it like fucking get shipped there. And you don't have to go to the fucking museum if you don't want to, to display things. It's so well done, and I mean, it is just there is no more crackish video game thing for my idiot lizard brain than that. It's just like, oh my god, of course I'm going to fill out this fucking museum and spend $300 in Skyrim. Fucking building out a digital museum that no one will ever see.
Honestly, it sounds a lot like, especially if it wasn't in the game at launch or anything after that, it almost sounds like somebody was playing ESO and they're like, we need to put that in Skyrim, because there's a lot of that in ESO.
I'm sure so much of this is
they're like expanded on, like, this is just for one player. We don't have to worry about like all the load from all these other players. Let's just pile that in here. Like, it sounds like a lot of that, and it's making me kind of want to go play ESO.
This is a fan thing, so sure. I mean, clearly there's no question a huge overlap between the two as far as user base goes. So I'm sure anything that's cool that has been in ESO or was built into ESO, someone has put in. There's just zero question in my mind. Like I said, it's the exact number that are active. Like I said, it's actually like 1,900 something that I downloaded, but you tick some boxes and stuff. Like, the active number is in my thing. It's 1,679 mods that are active when I play. The fact that it'll crash maybe every couple of days, one time. And I save. You got to save constantly to not get frustrated by that. But I mean, when I think about how seldom it crashes, the crazy shit I'm doing, and the fact that it has 1,679 code modifications actively
all
working on the fucking original game code. The fact that it works at all is insane. so yeah, anytime it does crash, I'll sit down and just be like, it's okay. like I'm able to talk myself down because it's such an amazing technical feat that it runs it all, So just, yeah, fuck, it's Skyrim, so fucking good and so worth the time and so fucking cool, and I can't believe how deep I am into it now, given it's a fucking 15-year-old game or whatever, so crazy. So plenty of Pinball FX VR when I want to just jam on something for a few minutes still discovering new things on both the tables I like, the Egypt and the Film Noir thing. Like, it's just amazing how multifaceted those fucking pinball tables are, and yeah, it's just such a great pinball game. Cannot recommend that enough. That's just a jam-on thing. And then the only other thing I have is the X-Men Quest situation. And I was checking my reading guide in between the last recording and this, and realized that late 88 is when the solo Wolverine book drops. And woo, buddy. Yeah, this is a whole... Of course, I'm doing that. I sent you the fucking cover one when I was up in the mountains in Lake Arrowhead when that happened, and I was reading a ton. And yeah, I mean, I didn't realize there was a lead up to it, to the debut of the solo book. They started this book called Marvel Comics Presents, and it's like a anthology book they would have 4 different storylines, each getting 10 pages per in a 40-page issue. And the lead storyline in each of the first 10 issues of that book was Wolverine's story, where he's in Madripoor on his own while the rest of the X-Men are in Australia pretending to be dead or whatever. He's off blowing off steam or some shit. And this, I didn't know. I presumed, but didn't know that this is exactly where the Patch persona originated, was the ramp up to this book. Is he created this. it's comics. God, comics are so bad. The whole idea, it's, again, the whole premise that the X-Men are dead, and they don't. It's so important that that publicly is maintained, that his solution to being able to go out into the world and Madripoor and fuck around. One, Madripoor is like a, it's a sketchy place. People can hide and whatever. Yeah. But also, that's not enough, because the idea with the patch, even though his fucking hair looks exactly like Wolverine,
Right.
Yeah, and he's got claws, obviously. But they, like, take this, like, that's his whole thing. Like, I just finished, like, I think I'm on issue 10, so I did the full 10 Marvel Comics Presents, and then I've done the first 10 issues of Wolverine now at this point. And, Madripoor, there's a few mutants here and there that he's interacting with, but the bulk of them are commoner fucking drug lords or whatever, just scumbags. And the whole reason he doesn't just murk everything in like nanoseconds is because he keeps saying to himself he can't pop his claws because that'll blow his cover. And it's just like two sides of that. One, that assumes that he is so recognizable with his claws out worldwide that, like, especially in like a bar fight or like killing some drug lords in a fucking drug den or something, like the idea that he can't pop his claws because it would blow his cover is fucking insane. And two, yes, just that dumbass eye patch and fucking,
it's like Clark Kent and his curl, like
precisely
the glasses changes everything.
Right, exactly. And it's just so fucking bad. It's just such a bad comic premise, I think, that, is the only way all these storylines function, is that his claws aren't out. Because, like, that's pretty much the solution. When things get really fucked, they like find a way to make it okay for him to pop his claws for whatever fucking, I can't even think of what the specific examples, but they figure out a way to make it viable for him to be doing that and not ruin their stupid ass X-Men are hiding in Australia thing. And then he just murks everything, and it's just, I don't know. It's just, it's a really bad crux, but it still is interesting, of course, to read the origins of these things and be cooking along in this. So that is a cool thing that I have going on, is that started. And then one really cool thing that I thought was a really good story, whatever choice or their ability to make it relevant, what have you. But there was like this really insignificant tangential moment in the X-Men book where they're in the Singapore bank, it's attacked, and this woman gets like fucking kidnapped or something. She's like the bank manager or some sort of executive at the bank. And like, I don't even, again, like it was a boring storyline, I remember, so I didn't maybe pay close enough attention. But the beginning of the Wolverine book, she comes back and she's like, she becomes a drug lord. Like, the whole thing is like the main drug lord of Madripoor fucked her over somehow or another. And she enlists Wolverine to help her, like, take him out and step into his place. And, like, it was just a really cool... I've been saying how, like, I have we're talking about Inferno and X-Factor and X-Men crossing over too is my next thing. And, like, they're finally kind of tying this shit together or making the books have overlap, which, again, is, like, my, like, core thing about wanting to read the other books is, like, I want to feel the universe there, and have it make sense. And that was a really cool, because it was such a seemingly insignificant. There was no attention drawn to that, I feel, in the X-Men storyline. And maybe they didn't plan on doing it then. It was a bit ago. It wasn't, just like the issue prior or something. So maybe there wasn't some intelligent design there, and that's why it feels that way. But whatever gets us there is fucking make it interesting. So that was cool to have that kind of crossover a little bit. And on the X-Men side, 238 finally got us into the Genosha stuff, ever so briefly anyways, before we got into Inferno. So that was really cool. It was one of the best issues I'd read in a while. And in that, also, like, again, prior to Inferno and not knowing what happens and where it goes, but, like, I'm reading issue 238, and I'm like, also, why in the fuck are Havoc and Madeline Pryor suddenly banging? What is wrong with these people? Like, where did this come from? Like, why? That's Scout's wife. Like, what the hell's happening here? Right. And like, I don't know, again, like, maybe I was tuned out. I don't know if I missed something, but, like, all of a sudden they're making out. And I'm like, what in the fuck is happening here? Like, this came out of nowhere. There was no setup to that at all. And, like, I was like, what in the fuck is happening here? So that was very jarring. but whatever. It kind of like, again, getting into Inferno, it like kind of explains it and makes it all kind of makes sense. But like, again, just I didn't feel like it was prefaced at all and came out of fucking nowhere that those two just all of a sudden are like have a thing going on. So that was interesting. And then the tail end of 88 X Factor is Death Angel going after the stooge that double-crossed him. I can't think of the guy's name. But the guy that basically started X Factor with him and kind of came up with the idea to market them as a mutant hunting group, as like a disguise. That way people would call them and they could go and save the mutants, supposedly, and help them, whatever, get their shit together. So he's going after and trying to kill him, and that was kind of interesting to kind of, I don't know, tie up that loose end. And then Beast came out of his stupor around then, both physically and intellectually. The thing where he was just like, well, he can't use his physical power, he's stupid. It makes him stupid every time he does something physical, which was the worst fucking storyline in that book so far. So dumb. But like that is accompanied by him getting the blue fur back, so that's interesting. And when he comes back out of that, he's like, also, I don't know, not what, like, even like very egotistical and like, I don't know, it was like a weird, I don't know if it was like a deliberate thing or just, I don't know, I'm not sure what the choice was there, but he like came out of that stupor like talking a lot of shit and like being like a total douchebag, and that was funny to me because that's not his character. Right. He's kind of like a super nice, at least as I know him, and like when I started reading and he's in like the 300-ish X-Men's, like that is, he's kind of like a cool, super nice science guy, right? In the cartoon, he's like a super smart, very kind, well-mannered individual, and like he came out of this being like Captain Dickhead. Like
he definitely changes personalities. I would say like the nice guy kind of thing. That's not how I would describe him, just because I've seen.
I know modern, because like I said in the modern
all kind of stuff different.
Yeah, the modern book he like he breaks bad. Like I know that the into that recent X-Men book before they restarted the count. Yeah. That was like the whole thing, that Beast was like the adversary for Wolverine in that last run. So yeah, I know he's oscillates, but in this time period, I was surprised that he had that kind of persona. I didn't expect that.
There's a lot of random things that a lot of times that they do, that they'll do that. And to your point, like sometimes it's like just due to a writer change. Other times they just want to do some random stuff, and it's, to your point, like somebody will start acting differently, and it's like, where did that come from? Or to your other point, random two X-Men are all of a sudden hooking up, and you're just like, wait, so that's happening now? Okay, right, I guess that.
I mean, clearly the easy answer to that is exactly what you're saying. Is there was a lack, which we've said multiple times about this era in particular, is just a lack of continuity and a lack of. It's not precious the way it is now. They don't have lore masters. There are no lore masters at Marvel right now, making sure that everything lines up with everything. So that is just the simple reason. But
that's more like, nah, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to do this. He's going to do this now.
Right?
Like, we'll make it work.
We just need to print a book. Especially some of these books are going bi-weekly at this point. They're like, let's crank them out.
That's honestly why, like, I used to read X-Men, X Factor, X Force. And then, like, I ended up just, and even, like, New X-Force. Mutants, Excalibur, like, a little bit. Like, for a while, when I was really into it, I was reading them all. But then it was like, all right, this group is not as interesting. These groups never interact. And then whenever a character would have, like, a Splinter book, like Wolverine, it wouldn't even be referenced. I'm like, this is not, like, he can't be off doing this thing, right, and he's still in the X-Men book. So I just ended up stopping that stuff. That's so annoying.
That at least felt, that Wolverine, like that exact thing you're saying, at least felt, it made sense now. For the
it's good time. When they did that, when they were keeping them, like even right now, like I'm in the Krakoa era still, and at least everything is connected. So it's like, all right, great.
At least makes sense, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's critical. But still, even with those acknowledgments, still some fucking, loose tendrils for sure. So they're dealing with a pretty cool thing too. They're dealing with the Mutant Registration Act stuff. X-Force was then, leading into Inferno. And it's kind of a rug that ties the room together with the X-Men story this time. I like that. There's even there's that, because what are they? It's Mystique and Blob and Pyro,
Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah, whatever they are when they're working for the government, the Freedom Force, I think they're actually called, when they're working for the U.S. government, and they're the ones that are out kind of like enforcing the registration by mutants to this act, and it was kind of interesting to have them show up, and for some reason or another, they had, I can't remember what the reason was, but they, like, Cyclops and Jean and them, like, they had to, like, make the choice to register, and, like, the rationale for it, and there was, like, a little bit of a political divisiveness, and it was an interesting dynamic that, again, is one of the things that I'm excited to get into this era, this 250 to 300, because I think that is a broader thing that actually, that's what makes X-Men so interesting, is, like, the parallels to the political divisiveness of the real, and blah, blah, blah. So, like, that was super cool to start seeing those breadcrumbs kind of drop. I fucking hate that. I hate Cyclops so much. He's just such an awful character. The stuff with him and Madeline and Cyclops' kid and Cyclops' bullshit about it. Like, he's just such a fucking... He's just such a he's like always the victim. That's what it is. He's just a fucking always the victim. He's just like, oh, it's so hard. My childhood was so hard, and the fucking everything about it just so fucking hard. He's just the absolute fucking worst. How, like, he's just constantly saying how, you know, oh, what a putz I was to have made that. He's just constantly brooding. It's just awful. Yeah. It's such a disgusting character. He just never gets any better. It's fucking so frustrating. And that kind of reared its head there. And then Inferno goes like 239 on X-Men. And it's like this one was even more so than the Fall of the Mutant Seed. It was 40-something issues that spanned across countless books to try to sell Mag's crossover style. And I had a feeling I was going to fucking hate it. I thought it, because there was like the lead-in with the Goblin Queen and shit. Madeline turned into that in the X-Factor book. And I thought it was just going to be this weird fucking demon realm thing. But it's where Mr. Sinister comes from. And that was actually really cool. To one of the few things about Cyclops I've liked. Like, them them finding a way, kind of like Saw-like, to like envelope previous stories into that. And like, take Mr. Sinister's involvement with Cyclops all the way back to pre-X-Men and make that all make sense was a really good storytelling job. And yeah, I mean, I've known Mr. Sinister, I've had the cards, whatever. I never knew that he was so ingrained in there. Oh, really? Yeah, super. So that was a super cool story. And, you know, knowing that he was like manipulating Cyclops' situation that far back, and then also kind of loosely knowing that their kid is Cable. That's correct, right? I'm not wrong in that. So like knowing, I don't know, just how much that has in the X-Men fucking thing was a really cool thing that I did not see coming and was pleasantly surprised by when it hit. And yeah, and then they bring them together. That brings X-Men and X-Factor together when they're trying to finish off Madeline Pryor and him, and you get into what I've been saying, like, why aren't they acknowledging each other? Why is there no acknowledgement of them being the original X-Men? They're the X-Men now, and there's like, they talked about how they like have different philosophies, and like how the old X-Men were this super altruistic thing, and like the newer X-Men are like making choices to kill things and people, and like if they have to do they have to do what they have to do, and like that was such a cool butting of heads too, that I thought was a good job to finally acknowledge and make work. So yeah, I thought I would hate that fucking storyline, and it actually turned out to be pretty fucking cool. So that was a nice discovery, and I just hit 246 last night. We just came out of Inferno, and I haven't started reading it yet, but there are Sentinels on the cover, so I'm pretty sure I'm headed to a cool place, and that I'm excited about.